to myself.
Right. Having you, eh?
Yes. I don't usually drink beer, but when I do, it's Dos Equis.
Oh, can I tell you my Cronenberg story just before we go here?
Oh, we have to have a Cronenberg. We've got Tom Waits, William Burroughs, Cronenberg's has to be next.
Exactly.
Noah Goyen, though. I don't have any tissues.
I have a. You just said no, Dos Equis, and I'm reminiscing to a time that I was on a French platform, a train platform, terribly poetic. I had the worst effing day traveling of all time. I had one of those days where you get on the bus to go to wherever it is that you're going, and the bus gets canceled halfway between where you are and where you're meant to go, and you can't get another one, and you have two places to go, and they're at equal opposites to where you actually are. So you're, fucked if you do and fucked if you don't. So I get on this bus. It took me like 6 hours to try to go and get to this hostel, and it's the south of France in the summertime, so it's hot as all get out. There's dust everywhere, lizards and crap all over the place, which is great. But when you're carrying a 27 kilo backpack and a 7 kilo side pack, and you're built like me, you're ready to sit down and have a fucking rest. So go into this spot, and I go into this little cafe because the buses let me off in this funky spot and I can't see anything from where I am. So I go in, and my French is pretty good, and at this point it was really, really, really good. And so I started asking how to get where I was meant to go, and they didn't want to speak French to me. They wanted to speak English, except their English was the shits, which I fully expect because I'm in France. Who's going to speak English in France? I'm in France. It would be ignorant of me to expect people to speak English. Hence, I spoke French. But they didn't want to speak French. They wanted to speak English. And so they got into this argument between the two of them as to whether the word for right was right or the word for right was left. So this way, and I said, please, I understand you in French. Can you just tell me in French, where is the hostel? They're like, just follow that sign out there. And I look at it. The end of the sign that has the arrow part of it has been cut off of both sides. It's broken off. I can kind of see that it might have been one way, but anyway, so I finally managed to get them to speak their native tongue to me, thank the Lord above. And so I start walking this spiraling trip to the top of a hill where I discovered the hostel was fucking closed. It was closed. There was another bus for an hour and a fucking half. So I turned my little ass around, start walking down the hill, and this is the only time I was away for 6 months. It's the only time in the entire trip that I fully had a little pity party. I was dirty and wet wet from sweat and just tired. These two dirty little drips of tears going down my face. This sucks. This is fucking stupid. So I say, and I'm in Marseille at this point, so I said, you know what? Screw Marseille. We're getting out of here. This place sucks. So I get on the bus. All right, Rachel. Where are we going? Fuck. Let's get out of here. It's like 6:00 at night. I've been traveling since like some silly in the morning. Open my map. I said, where am I going? Where's close that I can get a place to stay? And I'm like, Nice. Nice is nice. That sounds nice. Let's go to Nice. Soon as I get to this train station, the universe opens. All the forces of nature are going, yes, go to Nice. So I walk into the station. The signage is perfect. I walk in to the ticket office, and they say, are you a student? I say, no, I'm sorry. They look at me and say, tell me you're a student. I say, I'm a student. They're like, excellent, 40% off for you. I was like, yes. It was like, instead of 25 euro, it was like 19 euro or something to get there. I go onto the train station. It says that the train is supposed to leave in 40 minutes, but there's actually one that's early and it's leaving in 15 minutes. I go over there. There's these lovely couchettes in there. The guy takes my bag and said, I walked over to the train to make sure that it was going to be okay there, but walked back over onto the platform. And those of us who remember what's great about Europe is that everyone drinks all the time, everywhere. So you walk into the train station and there's a bar. So I walk up, I throw my bag down. I've got sweaty bag marks on my arm. Throw it down on the ground. I look over and I see the most gobsmacking vision in the night, which is a little balding bartender with a gorgeous glass in his hand that says 1664. And he's holding this glass up to one of those lovely, perfect, the slimline taps. Mm-hmm. And the man standing beside the bar says, I'll have one of those. So he holds it up to the slimline tap. The glass is so frosted because it's so humid and so hot there, and the glass is so cold. So he pulls it up, pulls the pint, hands it to the guy beside, and my mouth is like dripping. And I see this man take his first sip, and I said, I'll have one of those. And he pours another one for me. The glass was so cold, my fingers are sticking to it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I put it down in two. And the first draw on it, it was the sweetest, roundest, loveliest flavor of all time that I've ever experienced in my life. And so forever onward, to finish up, I finished up the pint, put it down. It was still fully frosty all the way up. My handprint was in it. I felt much better about life. Put the pack on, got on the train, left presently. And many good times were had by all upon my arrival to Nice.
You know my favorite part of that story?
What?
Is you started by saying effing and then proceeded to say fuck 9 times.
Sorry.
No, don't.